But if you are ever bored and wanting to tinker around with some geography games, because I know that sounds really exciting, this website called Cetera has lots of cool, right, relatively, maps and quizzes that you can play. And they have quizzes on the US, North America, all the continents, the world. And so you can really get in here and look and find more geography information than you probably want. Today I was going to go over a couple kind of world geography things. I may or may not spend a day on just US geography stuff. From all my experience with the test, with the GED test, I don't see a ton of US geography, like knowing states and capitals and things like that doesn't seem to pop up a whole lot. So we may kind of spend a day talking about some basic US geography, but world geography seems to be what I notice most on the test. So I'm just going to pull up these quizzes, and I know since we have obviously a virtual distance between us, I'll kind of walk us through it. But if you want to check these out on your own, they're interesting, and you can kind of pick and choose what you want to do with them. So with that said, I want to go over continents and oceans and just make sure, first of all, we know where our continents and oceans are. And then just some physical features and do a little more in-depth quiz on kind of world geography as it relates to physical features, mountains, mountain ranges, rivers, bodies of water, that kind of thing. So not that this is vital stuff, but it's good to have a general sense of where stuff is for life, but also for the GED. Like, it's good to kind of you don't have to be a geography expert, but it's helpful to have a general idea of where things are spatially, because the GED will give you lots of maps and assume that you know where some of these things are and not tell you. So that's kind of why we're going over it. So I think I'm debating on trying to pull up a blank map. I think we'll play the game, and hopefully this works all right. And if it doesn't, then we won't do it again. But so if you go ahead and in here, you can click on these games. I'm just going to click on continents and oceans, and it pulls up hopefully this screen share works okay. And if you can't see stuff, let me know. It's kind of taking its time here, so you won't be seeing anything yet. But so anyway, here is kind of how it works. That out of the way. So if I scroll down here, obviously this is a map of the world, right? And the first thing it says is to click on Australia. So this is just a little quiz that includes all the continents and all of the oceans. Okay, so Australia is a continent. So we've got here, 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 here. We've got 7 continents. And Australia is, so just kind of be doing this, on your own as we're going along. If you know where Australia is, great. Hopefully we know that it's right here. And I'll do a little review afterwards, because I know that, like I said, this is not necessarily ideal to be doing it this way. All right, so now we're asked to click on Europe. So again, another continent. So if you know where Europe is, great. Kind of point it out to yourself. If not, we need to know that Europe is that one right there. But here's an easier one. Where is Antarctica? Hopefully we all know where this one is. Way down here. Boom. All right. Now it asks us for an ocean. So these dots represent the ocean. So we've got one here, one here, one here, and one here. And they kind of represent these big bodies, right? And over here is obviously the same as this ocean, right? Because we're talking about the world. So the Pacific Ocean is which one of these? Pacific Ocean borders the west of North and South America, so it's that one there. All right. So again, if this is all easy and kind of boring, then just kind of bear with me. I just kind of wanted to run through something a little different, and also just show you this cool website that is helpful for improving your geography. All right. All right. We got a few more continents left. Africa. Anyone want to take a guess as to where Africa is? Africa is this one right there. Okay, we've got 3 continents left. This one, and this one. And we've got 4 oceans. So Asia is this big guy right there, our largest continent. Okay. The Southern Ocean. Okay. Probably the least known of the in terms of the names, and but also the most literal. So if you can read a map and tell where north and south are, the Southern Ocean, guessed it, is this one way down here. Southern Ocean. All right. Now down to just 3 oceans and 2 continents. The Arctic Ocean, the Antarctica is here. The Arctic is the North Pole, so Antarctic is the south. Arctic is the north, so the Arctic Ocean is that one. All right. Indian Ocean, what do you think? This one or that one? Here's the continent, or here's the country of India, so the Indian Ocean is that one. Okay. North America. Now, this is one hopefully we all know. I've had people in class not know where North America is. So, if you don't know, you're not alone, but you should know where North America is, right? Continent we live on, North America is this guy right there. And that makes the last continent on this quiz, South America. That one right there. And the last ocean is the Atlantic, which is right there. So, great. Congratulations to myself. I got 100%. So anyway, hopefully that was somewhat easy. If it wasn't, then practice your continents and oceans. Okay? In class, whenever we get back to a real classroom, I like to go over this often, just to kind of beat it in your head. You should know this stuff, right? And if you don't, then get on here and mess around with these games. It's easy, it's free, and then it's just kind of entertaining sometimes. At least I think I like geography. Geography is something I've always liked. All right, so let me do one other little thing, and then I'll actually just pull up. I've got some map questions that I've pulled off of my old real GED tests, and so we'll end with some map questions like we normally do, or end with questions. But I want to kind of go through one more elaborate quiz just to kind of show you the other options, and also maybe challenge us just a little bit. That hopefully is easy. Again, if not, then get on here and do it. All right, so I want to go down here and pull up the physical. Let it load up here. Okay. So this one will test me a little bit too. I don't necessarily know all these ones perfect, so I might miss one here and there. Okay. So, and these, as opposed to the continents and oceans, I definitely don't expect everyone to know all of these. Okay, there are some obscure ones on here, and there are some less obscure ones, but again, I don't necessarily expect you to know. Just kind of a little bit of a challenge. So we're looking for the Danube. So the Danube, I'll tell everyone, is a river. So it's a river. So notice we've got the rivers here. We've got this one. We've got this one on North America, this one on South America. We've got a couple big rivers on the Africa map. We've got one in Europe. We've one in what is China, and I think that's all the rivers this map has. So the Danube River is actually this river right here in Central Europe. So here's one that's maybe less obscure that hopefully we all know. The Sahara Desert. The Sahara Desert. The Sahara Desert is the largest desert on Earth. You've probably heard of it. Hopefully you know that it's on the continent of Africa. And the Sahara Desert is this big guy right there. Okay, here's another kind of more obscure one. Click on the Yangtze or the Chang. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. So I'm just going to say Yangtze. Okay, the Yangtze River is, not to be stereotypical, but where does it sound like it is? It sounds like it's a river in Asia or in China, and it indeed is this river right there, Yangtze. Now I'm definitely not going to post this. All right. So, hold on. Why my thing's going haywire? All right. So, they also have oceans on here, so hopefully you haven't forgotten the oceans in the past 2 minutes. The Arctic Ocean, remember, Antarctic is the south pole, the Arctic is the north pole region, so the Arctic Ocean is this guy right there. The Rocky Mountains should be one that you're familiar with. If not, then maybe you will be after today. The Rocky Mountains are very close to where we live now. Right? They run through the western part of the United States, through Colorado, New Mexico, Montana, parts of Idaho. And the Rocky Mountains are this big mountain range here that runs from Mexico really all the way up into Canada. And it is that one. Did you know that one? Great. Again, if you don't remember all these, the point of this isn't necessarily to remember all of these. It's just to kind of show you where some of this stuff is and familiarize yourself with just some basic geography that you might need on the test. Mediterranean Sea. Okay? Where the heck is that? Mediterranean Sea may be something you've heard of. So obviously a body of water, and it is near Europe and Africa. It is this body of water right. Indian Ocean. Remember where the Indian Ocean is? The Indian Ocean is this one down here by the country of India. That one. Pacific Ocean. Those of you that haven't forgotten, hopefully you remember it's this big giant body of water here in okay, the largest ocean. Here's an obscure one, the Strait of Gibraltar. This is not one I would expect anyone to know, and I'm pretty sure the Strait of Gibraltar is this tiny sliver of water that separates Europe and Africa right there. Very small, right? So a strait is a narrow body of water that connects two larger ones. Right? That's the definition of what a strait is. Here, it's connecting the Atlantic Ocean on one side and the Mediterranean on the other side. The Himalayas, biggest mountain range on Earth in terms of the highest mountain. Okay, and the Himalayas is somewhere over here in Asia. It is. Where do you think it is? You've got that dot, and this dot, and this dot, and it's down here on the north. The border of India, on the north border of India, and the southern border of China and Nepal runs along the Himalayan mountain range. Okay, Lake Victoria. Okay, Lake Victoria. Again, not one I would expect many of you know. Lake Victoria is in Africa, and it is essentially the source of the Nile River. Persian Gulf. Persian Gulf. Again, another one. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. A gulf is a body of water, right? Another name for sea, maybe. It typically tends to be a little smaller than a sea, but this body of water here that kind of is tucked back in here is known as the Persian Gulf. Okay. I'm going through these kind of quickly because I want to make sure we get to some practice questions. And then, again, if you want to spend more time doing these, you can definitely come back here. Next up, we have the Gobi Desert. All right, so let's see. We're getting close here. We've got a few more dots left. We've got this dot, this dot, this dot. A couple more rivers. The Gobi Desert is one of these shaded areas. And what I mean, so it's either this one, or this one. The Gobi Desert is actually here in parts of northern China and Mongolia. Okay, Antarctica. Oh, I didn't know the. We're on this, but we know from our last quiz, Antarctica is right there. Okay, the Mississippi River. That should sound familiar. Hopefully we can pinpoint where this one is. The Mississippi River is in the United States, biggest river in the United States. The only dot left in the United States is right there's the old Mississippi. Okay, Greenland. Where is Greenland? Again, one that I think most people probably know where it is. If not, give it away. It is this big island up here. That is Greenland. Okay, and just a few more left, and then we'll get to some practice questions. The Andes mountain range. So we only have, it looks like 2 more mountain ranges on here. We've got this is a mountain range, and this is a mountain range down here. And the Andes is this one or this one? What do you think? The Andes mountain range is this one in South America. All right, now another river. This one is called the Niger River. The Niger River is in Africa, and it is one of these two. It's this one or this one. Any idea? The other more famous river in Africa is one of these. Okay, the smaller of the two, Niger. Niger is that one right there. Our final mountain range, the Ural Mountain Range. The Ural Mountains are right. Okay, let's see. We've got 1, 2, 4 more dots, so we're almost done. The Amazon River. Amazon River. So we have only 2 rivers left. We have this river, and we have this river. Unless I missed it. So either one of these. Which one do we think it is? The Amazon River, the Amazon rainforest that accompany it. Let's stop trying to say that word right now. I'm apparently tongue-tied. The Amazon River is this one right here in South America. Okay. Siberia. Siberia is kind of a weird choice to be on this quiz, but it's basically a large, desolate expanse of land in northern Asia, and this area up here is what's known as Siberia. That's Siberia. Our last 2, I think, Nile River, the longest river on Earth. This big river here that flows all the way through Africa. That is the Nile River. And then lastly, the Atlantic Ocean is our last dot right there. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't too boring, and hopefully that was just something a little bit different. I know playing a quiz essentially by myself isn't necessarily exciting, but again, if you did great on that, awesome. If you did awful, that's fine. And geography is something that most students I encounter either aren't good at or haven't really been exposed to it. So go through this and practice it a little bit. Again, you're not expected to be a geography expert on the test, but it is helpful that you just kind of have a basic knowledge of where things are. So again, check it out if you want. Another time, let me stop the share and pull up a couple practice questions to end the day with. So let's see what I've got. So here's my old handy dandy GED test. For those of you that haven't seen me pull this up before, this is forgot what I'm doing. Nope. Let me zoom in. So this is an actual GED test from like back when they used paper tests. So they've given them out for people to use as practice, but it's just kind of a nice change. Of course, it's a little bit crooked. So I'm going to chop the title off. The title just says World Land Use. But I want to make sure we get. Oh, forget it. I'm way too much time and energy into getting it right on the screen. Hopefully you can read that. I know if you're not using a computer and you're trying to read this on your phone, it's probably hopeless, but I'll just kind of do my best. So the big thing is that you can read the map, okay? So here's a question that deals with world geography. It doesn't necessarily matter that you know where all the continents are, although for number 2, it makes it easier if you do, because it mentions continents by name. So again, that's kind of why I went through that today, and just continents and oceans is really, if you're going to know only one thing about geography for the test, that's it. Just know where your continents and your oceans are. Okay, so the title of the chart of the map is World Land Use. And the key down here shows us the various colors and the various types of things that land is used for around the world. Stock raising, the bright purple, nomadic herding in the light yellow, manufacturing in blue. So manufacturing would be these blue areas here. Okay. The light pink is hunting and gathering. The black is forestry and hunting and gathering. So similar to the light pink, but basically adding in forestry. And then the gray is commercial farming and stock raising. So, right here. And it says, so number 1 says, according to the map, what comparison can be made among the continents? Okay. 1, birth and mortality rates. 2, probability of political stability. 3, religious beliefs. 4, variety of economic activities. 5, distribution of minerals. Okay? This is really just a test in, do you know what the map is showing? Is the map telling us anything about birth and mortality? In other words, the rate at which people are born and the rate at which people die. That's not information that's given to us on the map, right? So an obvious wrong answer. Probability of political stability. Is there anything on there about politics, countries, right? Borders, there's nothing on there that can be interpreted political, right? So number 2 is obviously not right either. And number 3, religious beliefs. There's nothing on that map about religion, so we can easily eliminate the first 3, easily. 4 and 5 seem to be the only ones that may make some sense. 4 says variety of economic activities. 5 says distribution of minerals. Okay. Was this map showing us various economic activities? In other words, things people do to make money, or countries are doing to boost their economy, which is another way of saying generating money or wealth. Or 5, is it showing the distribution of different minerals? stock raising, nomadic herding, manufacturing, hunting and gathering, forestry, farming. Those are not examples of minerals, right? Minerals would be gold deposits, silver, copper, iron, so on and so forth, right? Coal. So, the right answer here is variety of economic activities. Pretty straightforward. All right. So, lastly, let's do this final one here. Number 2, that'll take us right to 1145. Number 2 says, what is the most probable reason for the level of commercial farming and stock raising in North America, Europe, and parts of Asia? So again, you could have figured this question out without knowing where North America, Europe, and Asia are, but it would be easier if you know this is North America, this is Europe, this is Asia. Right? That would make the question easier. If you have no idea where those continents are, then you're kind of left to guess. I mean, you can look and find where commercial farming and stock raising is, which is gray, but there is a certain amount of gray on every continent. And so, again, just having a basic level of geography skills is all you need. So, the question just asks us, what is the probable or most likely reason for the amount of, in other words, why is there lots of commercial farming in North America, Europe, and Asia? Why does that seem to be where the majority of farming and stock raising is? That's what it's asking. 1, they have suitable soil and favorable climates. Sounds reasonable. 2, they have little precipitation and short growing seasons. Would it make sense that we would have lots of farming somewhere where there is a short growing season? No, right? Would make sense exactly the opposite. It would make sense if we had farming and livestock in areas where there was a long growing season, right? So number 2 doesn't make any sense at all. 3, they are surrounded by large bodies of water. Okay, so there's water here, there's water here, there's water here. We could maybe justify it, but then also there's big areas of gray that are not surrounded by water. So number 3 doesn't quite make sense either, right? It's maybe something, maybe an answer that you might fall for because it does seem like there is water around lots of this area, but it's not the most probable reason. And there is lots of examples of gray that are located, that are landlocked, that are not surrounded by water. So 3 isn't right either. They do not use their land for other industries. Okay. Let's leave that one for now. That one sounds like either we might not understand it fully, but I'm not ready to throw that one out. Number 5, they are located near the equator. This would help, again, if you know where North America, Europe, and Asia are. Here's the equator. The map shows us the equator right here. Are those continents located near the equator? No. So number 5 is wrong. So between number 1, they have suitable soil and favorable climates, and number 4, they do not use their land for other industries, what makes the most sense? Why is it North America, Europe, and Asia have so much farming? Because they have suitable soil and favorable climates, right? Of course, the number 4 isn't true because they do use their land for other industries, right? We can see there's some blue, there's some pink, there's some black, scattered across all these continents. So it's not true that they don't use it for anything else. It's just the reason that there's a lot of it is because they have good soil and good climates for growing things. Not rocket science. All right, so that's all I've got for today. Again, we might spend one more day on geography just as a little break before we go back into the second chunk of U.S. history. And I just wanted to try something a little bit different and break things up a little bit. So hopefully that was good. Again, if you like that website, go ahead and check it out on your own and kind of play around with the games they've got on there. And if you have any questions for me, like always, please ask me either in class, in the chat, or email me. That's fine too. So if you're back for science, I'll see you this afternoon. Otherwise, have a good weekend, and I will see you back for social studies on Monday. All right, everybody, have a good one.